All right, let's get into it. We're going to pull back the curtain on something huge, a part of the oil and gas world you almost never see, the back office. You know, for an industry that powers the entire planet, some of its most critical systems have been stuck in the past. Today, we're talking about how it's making a massive leap, from old-school paper trails to some seriously impressive predictive power.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry. You've got wells, pipelines, complex contracts, dozens of partners. How on earth do you track every single barrel of oil and every dollar it's supposed to make? The complexity is just, well, it's mind-boggling.
So you see these incredible images, right? These massive, high-tech engineering marvels out in the middle of nowhere. It all looks like something out of the future. But the systems running things behind the scenes, the accounting, the invoicing, a lot of that has been stuck in the past. And that creates this huge disconnect between the cutting-edge work in the field and the paper pushing back in the finance department.
And that disconnect brings us right to the heart of the matter, to what we can call the paper problem. We're talking about all the inefficiency that gets baked into these old, manual, paper-based systems that are just struggling to keep up.
Okay, so the foundation for all of this is a process called hydrocarbon accounting. Now, this isn't your normal, everyday accounting that just follows the money. No, this is about tracking the physical product itself, the actual oil and gas, from the second it comes out of the ground all the way to the point of sale. And if you get this wrong, the financial consequences are absolutely massive.
So, where does a system like this usually break down? A huge one is invoice management. Just picture the chaos for a minute. You've got teams way out in the field, so approvals get delayed. Back in the office, papers go missing, or the invoice doesn't match the purchase order. What does that lead to? Duplicate payments, late payments, which you can imagine your vendors just love. On top of all that, you can't even get a clear picture of what you owe. The whole thing is just built on friction.
And check this out. This number is what really gets me. It can cost over $10 to manually process one single invoice. Now think about a big company that handles thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of these every single month. That paper trail isn't just a trail, it's a river of wasted cash.
But what if you could change that? What if you could turn that river of waste into a super efficient stream of data? Well, that's where things get interesting. Welcome to the automation revolution, all powered by something called Business Process Automation, or BPA.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you have the manual world. It's messy, paper gets lost, people have to chase down approvals, and trying to fix discrepancies is a total nightmare. But look at the right. With an automated workflow, it's a whole new ballgame. Invoices get scanned and captured digitally, the software sends it to the right person automatically, systems can match it to the purchase order in a split second. The result? Payments are on time and they're accurate.
And the results? They speak for themselves. We are talking about an 80% reduction in just the cost of processing an invoice. And overall, you could slash process costs by up to 45%. So this is way more than just a convenience. It's a huge win for the bottom line. But here's the thing, getting rid of waste is just step one. The real game changer is what you do next.
Yeah, because simple automation, that's just the beginning. The next big leap isn't just about doing things faster, it's about doing things smarter. And that brings us to the intelligence layer.
And this is the fundamental difference. The automation we were just looking at is what you'd call rules-based. It's great, but it's reactive. It does exactly what you tell it to do. AI-powered automation, though, that's proactive. It's constantly learning from your data, spotting patterns you'd never see, and it actually starts to predict what's going to happen next. So what does that actually look like? Well, imagine using generative AI to read a 100-page legal contract in seconds and pull out the 5 most important clauses your team needs to see. That could save days of work. Or how about this? Using predictive analytics to look at a vendor's history and flag them as a high risk for being late next quarter, giving you time to do something about it. See, we've gone from just processing paperwork to generating real strategic insights. Okay, so we've got speed from automation and we've got smarts from AI. Now, let's zoom all the way out and look at the ultimate vision for the entire industry's back office. Let's talk about the future as a service.
This all leads to a model called Hydrocarbon Accounting as a Service, or HAAS for short. The idea is brilliant, really. You take all that complicated back-office stuff, the software, the data, the expert analysts, and you bundle it all into one single service in the cloud. So instead of having this massive, expensive department inside your company, it becomes more like a utility you can tap into whenever you need it. It lets companies focus their money and their best people on what they actually do: finding and producing energy.
And all of this builds towards the ultimate goal, creating a digital ledger. This is it, the single source of truth for the entire business. It's a system where AI is smart enough to flag a weird-looking invoice before a human even lays eyes on it. It's where executives get dashboards with live, real-time data, not reports from last month. And here's the holy grail. It can deliver a live cash cost per barrel number. Knowing that single metric in real time changes everything. It lets you make smarter decisions faster right out in the field.
So at the end of the day, here's the most important point. Putting these tools in place isn't just some tech upgrade. As Enverus says here, it's a strategic change. It completely changes the DNA of how an energy company operates, how it makes decisions, and how it competes.
And that leaves us with one last pretty big thought. As these incredibly smart systems start to handle all the repetitive, analytical work, it frees up the brilliant people in this industry to focus on what we humans do best. You know, strategy, big ideas, innovation. So the real question for the future is this. When the back office is smarter than a human, where does human talent focus next? That's what's going to define the next era of energy.